Welcome back. Well, it's been a few weeks, hasn't it? But 'twas the season. So, apologies. I do keep you updated in the YouTube communities tab, but I know not everybody checks that. I did record a full Christmas episode, and it turned out to be a silent episode. I couldn't retrieve the audio on it. And it was December the 23rd, and I didn't feel like re-recording 45 minutes worth. So it kind of put me in a bit of a downer losing that. But c'est la vie. It gives me content guaranteed for this Christmas because I'll just be redoing the same thing again. But you ain't seen it, so it's new to you. The topic of today's discussion, though, as per the title below, is the eagerly awaited. Look at this. Look at this. Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter in bespoke packaging. It would have been nice to have a box on the outside of this as well, so that you can keep this pristine and don't need to worry about Hermes throwing it in bins and whatnot. But rather nice that they've gone to all the effort of customizing the box to the extent of wrong way around, to the extent of even here. Oh, nice, isn't it? There you go. Look at that. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar, in October on the channel, we had Hammerween, where I looked at 31 Hammer films, avoiding the biggies. So no Draculas, no Frankensteins, etc. And at the weekends, we covered vampire weekends. So all the Hammer vampire films that weren't Dracula films. So Vampire Circus and Kiss of the Vampire, etc., etc., right through to Let the Right One In. And of course, covered Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter. After that, this was announced. So I don't really need to review the film because not that long ago already done so. Which also meant I didn't need to rewatch the film today. I could just flick through it, some favourite bits, and then watch some extras when it came earlier on today and read through the books and whatnot. So this is more of an unboxing, which I don't tend to do much of on the channel, but it gives some of you a chance to have a look at what you can get here on this limited edition. So again, thanks to Hammer for sending this on. They also sent a lovely, I put pictures on socials a few weeks ago, um, uh, poster of Captain Kronos, a proper quad poster on proper linen paper. So it's not cheap. Oh, it was really nice. I'll try and regurgitate the picture and find that. Look at it somewhere on socials again. So as we open up, we reveal more card, and that reveals the main event. So I'll just pull this out. As the actress said to the bishop, for those of you who aren't subscribers and are here just for this, there's a lot of classic horror content on the channel. So think about throwing a sub this way and checking out the back catalogue. But also stay tuned at the end for a kind of mini announcement on the future of the channel. We're going to Hollywood, baby. So here's what we get. So gorgeous, kind of faux leather, leatherette, bespoke packaging. Um, get this out of the way first of all, so I'm not holding it on the whole time. So here's your certifications and whatnot. With what they said, 15 rated. I like it when they give full information on the ratings. Contains mild peril, etc., etc. So on 4K from 74, of course. And there's your spine. Oh, yeah, rather gorgeous throughout. Absolutely gorgeous. And this opens up to reveal Graham Humphrey's artwork, which speaks for itself, doesn't it? Again, I don't need to review the film. Already done it. We've talked about Horst. We've talked about Carolyn Monroe. We've talked about the strange dynamic of Kronos and his sidekick, Yost and whatnot. So here's how the discs come. Speaking of, look at that. This is coming to you on widescreen. remarkable. And then rather handily on this side, it gives us what's on it. So you get the widescreen 166 UK theatrical, full screen 137 as filmed version. So there is some different footage depending on what version you're used to. I checked it out and it's interesting. There's a slight change in quality, but not massive. The US theatrical and widescreen, a full screen of the as filmed UK theatrical version on 137 on Blu-ray. So basically, you get the same contents again on Blu-ray for discs 3 and 4, and then you get documentary and interviews which take up disc 5. And to give you a look at the discs, scroll in fact, I'll float them so you can see a bit of the art that they've used for the discs. There we go. I rather love this stuff. This is on wide release in 2 weeks, a week on Monday, something like that. But it is limited edition, so if you do want it, please snap it up. The Although I mentioned that Hammer sent a COD poster, this does come with the um, reversible poster for original art, but not the new one they're using for the quads. But the original UK with them, yeah, and the original US. Well, plenty of pictures of Horst Janssen and John Cater and whatnot to keep you going, including on a set of cards. These mimic the US lobby cards of the time. So there's Horst there. Well, things kick off down the boozer. Like Saturday night in Sucky Hall Street. Same events. They're really going in on the swashbuckling angle here. It's not as much of a swashbuckler as some people like to pretend it is, Captain Kronos. It's funny how a lot of people double down on that in reviews. Yes, there's more than your average bear, and Horst is a good swashbuckling hero, but you wouldn't confuse this for an Errol Flynn Robin Hood anytime soon. I mean, if you rewatch the review, it was quite critical of aspects of the film that for everything I think it gets progressively right. There's also something I think it's not the savior of Hammer. You hear that repeated quite a lot. If they'd kept on going with this kind of thing, they might have survived, completely ignoring what was happening in wider UK film culture at the time. No, this wouldn't have saved Hammer. This they might have had a couple more slightly successful films, but it wouldn't have saved Hammer if they'd gone all in on Kronos things. So you get two books. You get the graphic novel of the film, which is rather wonderful. I was having a good read through this, and the artwork is fantastic. I was even getting this splash of it. So it's an almost commando style comics, which great, absolutely great. I wish they'd had the rights to be able to include. There was a whole new series of Captain Kronos comics that came out in the 2010s. I wish they had the rights to include those, but c'est la vie. This is fantastic, the Kronos Chronicles. It's filled with interviews with Brian Clemens, the writer-director. We talked about him in the video. Horst himself, Carolyn Monroe, John Cater. So it goes right back. There's a review of the film by Tim Lucas. Now, Tim Lucas, we obviously associate him with Giallo and whatnot, but he's obviously a wider film expert. The interview with Tim Lucas or that review by him, 1974. It's a contemporary one. Shows you how long he's been going, doesn't it? Tim Lucas, 1974, and he's still kicking them out there doing commentaries. So, I mean, here's a list of the contents of the book. I mean, I'll go through some of the highlights. The Making of Captain Kronos, Horst Janssen interview, Carolyn Monroe interview, the Horst interview rather wonderfully in 2006 says, "Would you come back for a sequel?" 32 years later, don't know how much demand there would have been for Captain Kronos to, especially to have Horst returning as Captain Kronos. But he does acknowledge that. He says, I think I'd need to be the mentor figure now. I don't think I could be the lead in a rather large budget. And I don't think the film industry in 2006 was clamoring for it. Laurie Johnson interview. There's a biography of Laurie Johnson as well. John Cater, who is a very unusual sidekick in the film. Lisa Collins, who's one of the unfortunate victims, who is taken by the vampiricness. William Hobbs interview, Monster Time article from '74, Tim Lucas's review, the aforementioned one, the full UK press book, the full US press book, publicity handbook, credits, call sheets, and distribution tactics. So it's all presented in a really pleasing magazine style. So it isn't dry, but it also doesn't do the Arrow Video thing of filling oh look, we've got a 36-page booklet, and you think, yeah, but actually about 3 pages of words. This is absolutely stacked with stills from the film, lobby cards, etc., behind the scenes, Hammer things in general, because there's a few Christopher Lee shots and whatnot. In fact, I'll skip ahead. I mean, there's horse looking. I always thought he looked like Michael York. Does anyone else think that? He looks like Michael York. Let's skip ahead a little bit. Look, Carolyn Monroe at the height of her. Carolyn Monroe in this. She's still kicking ass on Talking Pictures. She's the horror host on the Cellar Club, which great. Laura Main's appraisal of the film and how it settles into the modern day, the influences, issues, and impacts of the franchise that never was. Again, I don't see it as a franchise, but others have disagreed. And again, as I said, it doubles down on here's where it fits into the wider canon of Hammer films. Laurie Johnson, who I mentioned, he gets a couple of pieces here, was the composer. He passed away last year. Brian Clemens gets a really nice couple of essays here. Um, but Laurie Johnson did the music for the Avengers and Thriller and The Professionals and Wicker's World and whatnot. So he gets his flowers here, to use that awful phrase. There's John Cater, who I think might be the low-key highlight of the film. May well be. There's Lisa Collins as Vanda. Don't be too much of a fan. She doesn't do much in her career and doesn't have much to do in this. But hey, she also serves. We love her Hammer girls when you're a Hammer fan. Um, Rob Roy. I have a very special set of skills. I kill vampires. Yeah, I mean it's an extensive booklet to say the least. I mean it isn't a booklet, it is a book. Here's Tim Lucas's essay, yeah, twice aforementioned now, which was printed in Ciné Fantastique 1974, so more than 50 years now. And I always love these when they include the press kits and seeing the differences from the UK press kit to the US press kit, how they're marketing it in different places. I mean, get the magnifying glass out, unfortunately, but these were large things and they've been shrunk down. Um, Suggestions on how to advertise it and whatnot. Here's displays that you can set up in your lobby. And if you write to us, we'll send you these and blah blah blah. If you want single play dates, that kind of thing. Paramount Pictures, they're publicity handbook that's included. I mean, it's unreal. I mean, again, this isn't even a film that I consider top tier Hammer. If you go back and watch the video of the review, which I'll link to, because again, I don't want to repeat myself by reviewing the same thing twice in 3 months. But this is remarkable, remarkable stuff. The treatment that they're giving this. That's the call sheet, you know. Um, yeah. Wow, wow. I'm absolutely blown away at what we've got with this release. I really can't quite believe it. And rather excitingly, we are getting more. Um, the films that we're getting from Hammer in this series, if you will, they're not going to just be the Hammer horrors. So we're going to get some Hammer sci-fi. We're going to get some, which I don't know if any deals can be done with Judo Canal or whatnot, but wouldn't it be great to get the Nigel Neals done in this kind of deluxe edition? We're also going to get some noirs, which Hammer did quite a few of. Network released one or two before they went bust. We're getting, what else was it? I mean, I don't know if we're going to get on the buses over here, but 4K on the buses, anyone? 4K in hell. 4K in hell. Yeah, but just stunning treatment of this one film, which, wow, to get the treatment of like this for Captain Kronos, which again, I know a lot of people have a great reverence for it. For me, it's kind of mid-tier, as I said in the review, but to get this kind of treatment for Captain Kronos, I can't wait to find out what they've got planned for future installments. They have already said that not everything's going to come in a massive box like this. This probably will be the kind of thing that the bigger films get, the horror films get, that they're able to sell a good few thousand of. So something smaller like the Hammer Noirs, or maybe the comedies or whatnot. I don't know if they can do a, say, The Ugly Duckling from 1960. Those films will get smaller packages. They'll be less available to them. They'll be less available in terms of who they can interview, and there'll be less interviews about those, even contemporary interviews, you know. So it won't be a case of having 20 of these on your shelf looking uniform. They'll be smaller, some might be bigger, I don't know, but can't imagine they'll be too much bigger than this behemoth. But yeah, one exciting time. So yeah, John Gore, who's now running Hammer, has spoken about his wish to return Hammer to productions and to make films again. So I'm happy that we can have that going on, but also at the same time, Hammer can take control of some of their back catalogue. It will never. Well, I mean, I must have had a dozen comments during Hammerween. Why can't there be a full Dracula box set, full Frankenstein box set? Rights. Warner owns this. Columbia owns that. Sony own that. Studio Canal owns this. Universal owns that. Hammer themselves own this. They're not all going to come around the table for Hammer films. They're not massive, massive sellers that are going to make them all think, oh, that'll be a massive windfall for all of us. Let's join forces for that. No, it's just not going to happen, unfortunately. So we'll take what we can get and gladly. So, yeah, out in a couple of weeks from Hammer, Captain Kronos. If you order direct, you may have it already like me. I don't know if they're shipping everything already, but hey, there you go. So, and again, guys, really nice touch on the bespoke box. So thank you for that. Um, Next time though, stick it in an outside box, because I don't know about you, my postie will kick boxes to hell sometimes. If he's a Hermes driver, no chance would that get here in one piece. No chance whatsoever. Uh, but yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for your attention. If you're only here for the Captain Kronos content, that's me done. For the rest of you, for the rest of you, um, is there still interest in me doing top 10 or just 10 of my random favorite discs of last year? I'll maybe throw that out next week. I again, my heart was taken out of it when I lost that video. I put in quite a lot of effort towards Christmas and then lost that video. And there's no point in uploading a Christmas video after Christmas. But I could still do top 10 Blu-rays or something. Let me know about that. There's definitely going to be another Hammer adjacent unboxing coming very soon for another film I've seen. For someone we interviewed on the channel not too long ago, which should be the next week or two, hopefully. So look forward to that. And then to address longer term, going to be a lot more classic horror reviews, and some more modern horror. Um, and then I want to start reviewing non-horror a lot more as well because I'm looking at my shelves next door in the movie room and I'm thinking I'd love to talk Dirk Bogarde. I'd love to talk Alistair Sim. I'd love to do a John Hurt series. So yeah, loads of ideas percolating, which won't get big views, but be nice to have a little corner where we can squirrel away our curios and interests that aren't shared by the mainstream and the widespread. So perhaps that's a notion. So let me know what you think about that. As for music reviews, they have pared back quite a lot in the last year. Simple reason for that, space has become an absolute problem. So buying on vinyl especially, on top of buying all the Blu-rays and 4Ks and still DVDs, because I'm not a 4K snob or anything, so buying a lot of discs and then trying to fit in vinyl as well, it soon adds up when you've already got a massive collection. So there just hasn't been enough for that, and I don't like reviewing digital, but it might be something I need to reassess if I want to keep up with music reviews. Because really in the last year, there's only been Neil Young reviews, which that's fine because he does 10 things a year anyway, but still, I'd like to give you a little bit more variety in that corner of the world. Um, yeah, so. Anyway, let me know just suggestions, what you'd like to see. And if I don't like it, I'll bloody tell you. So, why don't you let me know that you liked this though by leaving a like, subscribing, telling your friends, getting your granny's phone off her, subscribing on her behalf. She'll appreciate it, I promise you. Especially when I start the Dirk Bogarde series. She probably fancied him back in the day. Although I don't think the feeling would have been mutual with her granny, who wasn't that kind. Yeah, comments, complaints, suggestions, stick them below. And Happy New Year. Okay, folks, we'll call it quits there. If you've got your sets or are soon to, let me know what you think. Again, I'll stick the original below of the review of Captain Kronos, should people want to know what I think of the full film. But for now, arrivederci Roma.